my great pleasure to welcome Vivek Wadhwa. He is a known name in the academic circles for his extensive research on entrepreneurship, especially focused on the Indian subcontinent. He is a professor at Duke, a researcher at Harvard, and now a researcher at Berkeley. Welcome.
Nice to meet you, Mateen.
You've done extensive research. Throw some nuggets out to the audience who haven't yet heard about it.
Well, I've been looking at the contribution of skilled immigrants to the U.S. economy, and we found some startling data. I mean, in 1999, Annalise Saxion had documented that 1 in 4 startups in Silicon Valley were founded by Indians and Chinese, and they contributed about $14 billion to the economy and hired 58,000 workers. But that was Silicon Valley. That was before the dot-com boom. Another interesting stat was that she found that Chinese outnumbered Indians 2 to 1 in starting companies. In 2006, I decided to update her research. I got together with her and we decided to do an update of her research and make it a nationwide study. What we found was nothing less than astounding. We found that the trend that started in Silicon Valley had become a nationwide phenomena. Indeed, that from 1995 to 2005, a quarter of all the startups nationwide were founded by immigrants. 52% of startups in Silicon Valley were founded by immigrants. I mean, that's mind-blowing to consider that more than half of Silicon Valley's companies were founded by foreign nationals, people who were not born in the United States. They contributed to $52 billion in sales, and they employed nearly 500,000 workers. So these were really mind-blowing statistics that we found, because and this doesn't count all the and we also looked at patents, for example. We found was that a quarter of all the patents being filed from the United States in the global database were filed by foreign nationals. Now those patents don't count U.S. citizens like me who file patents. So it's clear that immigrants are contributing disproportionately to American success.
What do you think is making this tick?
That's one of the things I'm researching here at Berkeley. First of all, it's clear that when immigrants come here, they're highly motivated to succeed because they've taken the risk of coming here. They have a lot at stake. They're at the bottom of the social ladder, and they really want to get somewhere and succeed in life. And it's hard to do that. You're always different. You and I look different than the locals do. And when we join companies, we have an accent. We have different outlooks and so on. So it's hard to succeed in the corporate world, relatively speaking. Start your own company, you're the boss. You control your own destiny. You can make yourself succeed. So it's a passion, motivation that immigrants have to achieve success. They want to share the American dream. Now the other ingredient over here, in the update we did, as I said, the Chinese outnumbered Indians 2 to 1 in Anna's study. In my study, what we found was that Indians outnumbered the next 4 immigrant groups by a landslide. They were starting twice as many companies as anyone else was, and they were the dominant founders of companies. That happened within a decade. Where did the magic happen? I think that TIE was my thesis is that TIE was a major contributor to it. What it did was that it encouraged Indians to start companies. It gave them the confidence and the courage to do it. It provided the mentorship. It opened doors up and so on. So my belief is that by learning from TIE, we can come up with a recipe which will help America and the rest of the world foster entrepreneurship.
If you take back this theory to 50 years, 60 years, when immigrants from Europe came here,
yeah,
they were also from low middle class backgrounds. Right. They were not part of the corporate structure here when they came. They had to struggle.
Right.
And they became entrepreneurs of a different genre. So they were traders mostly.
Right.
Small stores, small businesses, and some were successful to build some companies out of it.
Exactly.
Indian diaspora is similar also. If you look across America, you have the huge Gujarati community who come here, who are tremendously progressive in the motel and hotel business.
Right.
Okay. They are entrepreneurs in their own right. But when we talk about entrepreneurship in Silicon Valley, we talk about technology entrepreneurship. When we talk about TIE, we're talking about purely focused on technology.
Right, exactly.
How do you think this changed? Is it because of the fabric of Silicon Valley? Because you can't say Indians are different, because Indians who came to the East Coast and the Midwest are also from middle class backgrounds compared to the Indians here. Yeah. But there's a difference.
Exactly. The interesting thing was I actually looked into the background of these immigrants. What we found was that they tended to be very highly educated. 3/4 of the company founders of these tech companies had masters and PhDs. 3/4 of those masters and PhDs were in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So what was happening what has been happening is that we've been attracting the cream of the crop from the world over, and the most highly educated have been entering into the technology sector. And what's happened is that because Indians were so successful here, India basically changed also. They realized that their people can be successful. They opened the doors. Indian children who were always good in math and science and engineering started moving into technology, and this led to a virtuous cycle in which the country became stronger in IT, and because there were so many skilled workers there, they started coming to the United States. Many people went back, and both countries benefited, and both countries have now are much closer aligned because of the success. So getting back to your question about Silicon Valley has attracted more immigrants than any other part of the United States. And the immigrants it's attracted are the high-tech immigrants. So you also have the Gujaratis who started motels all over the United States. So they've been, they've been doctors who've come here. They've nurses. I mean, almost every field you can think of, there've been immigrants coming here. But the Silicon Valley is the place where technologists come to make it big and to succeed. And this is why it's been, they've succeeded, and this is why Silicon Valley succeeded. It's been win-win on both sides.
I want to finally touch on a topic which is probably passionate for you. You're passionate about it, which is the immigration reform.
Right.
Especially in today's troubled economic times.
Yeah.
When we should be more open.
Exactly.
Okay. We are trying to actually close.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we are trying to promote entrepreneurship across the world.
Right.
It's paradoxical in some sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I want your take.
It's more than paradoxical. It's sad. I mean, because what we're doing right now is that we're scaring away the world's best and brightest. When I looked at patents, we looked at the global patents being filed by foreign nationals in the USA. We found was that between 1998 and 2006, the foreign national contribution increased by 337%. Now, as I said before, these foreign nationals weren't people like me who were born abroad and became citizens. These were people on temporary visas or other visas. When we looked into it, we were absolutely stunned at what we learned. We learned that there are millions of skilled immigrants and their families right now in the US waiting for green cards. These people are on visas like H-1B visas. They're students, they're PhD researchers. They're the cream of the crop. They're working for American companies, filing patents, contributing to our competitiveness, and they're stuck. Basically, there are only 8,400 visas available per year for the members of any group from any country. In other words, there are about 1/3 Indians waiting for green cards. Only 8,000 visas roughly available per year. So it could take forever for many people to get green cards, and they're getting frustrated and going home. So this is a complete disaster. Just at the time when we need more startups, when we need more innovation in the United States, we need, because ultimately it's these startups, it's new businesses which fuel the economy. As Carl Schramm from Kaufman likes to say, 1/3 of the US GDP comes from companies that didn't exist before 1980. It's startups that create the jobs. So we need tens of thousands of new startups. One or two of those will be Google, there will be an Intel, there will be Cisco, which will employ tens of thousands of workers. The problem is that all of these foreign workers can't start companies. They can't contribute to the economy. When they get laid off, they have to go right back home. And this is a big loss to the United States. So in long term, India, China, all sorts of other countries will benefit from this, really the cream of the crop of American talent going back home, and they'll start companies over there. We will lose. The next Silicon Valley won't be here. It will be in Shanghai or Bangalore, which is great for India and China. But for the United States, it's a disaster. This is the most stupid immigration policy you could possibly have, that you drive away highly educated, skilled immigrants who could make you successful. So like I said, we need to fix this and fix it fast, because the U.S. is hemorrhaging right now. There's a brain drain going on, which is going to cost us severely for decades to come.
Vivek, on that passionate note, thank you.
I wish I could say something positive over here, but I'm really worried.
Yes, sir, enough positive thing. This is also a positive point.
Yeah, I'm worried for U.S. competitiveness. I want to see this country succeed.
Great. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.